The Kingdom of My Divine Will in the Midst of Creatures. Book of Heaven, Volume 36, Part 8. July 6, 1938. How Everything Triumphs in the Divine Volition. Joys and Conquests. The Divine Will as Mother. Example of the sea and those who live in it. I am in the arms of the Divine Will, and I can say that I spend every day in its sea. Anything it did, both in creation and in redemption, all its acts, comes toward me, telling me, "We are already yours. See with how much love the Creator donated us to you. And you, insert your little love, so that the creative love may love in the created love, and the created love may love in the creative love, and both of them may be victorious." But as I was following the acts of the divine volition, I wanted to take all heaven in one jump, locking myself in the celestial region, never to leave again. Oh, how heavy is this exile for me! If it wasn't for the divine Fiat that lets flow its rivulets of joys and celestial happiness, I don't know how I could bear it. And I felt embittered. So, my beloved Jesus, who watches over me in everything, and does not want me to occupy myself with anything other than living in his will, having compassion for me, and sweetly scolding me, said, "My good daughter, why do you embitter yourself? Bitterness clashes against my will, because it is the source of all the sweetness, triumphs, and conquests. If the creature feels bitterness, it is because they do not live in my will, and their will tyrannizes them, so they suffer from bitterness and remain defeated. Therefore, courage, my daughter. You must know that as the creature lives in my will, she feels the need for her heavenly fatherland. She feels it already her own, so depriving herself of the heavenly glory for love of me, I feel as if she would give back to me everything in each of her acts. She gives me all heaven, the whole ocean of joys and happiness contained in the celestial regions. Wouldn't you give this content to your Jesus? Moreover, if I do not finish forming in you the kingdom of my will, how can I transmit it to the others? So please, just let me do." After this, he added, "My daughter, my love toward one who lives in my will is such that I behave as a mother who had a crippled son, but possesses the power to give her son the rarest beauty. This mother lies over him, warming him with her heat. By kissing and hugging him over and over again, she restores the use of his limbs. She makes him beautiful, and looking at him as the fruit of her maternal love, she feels happy. However, the mother doesn't really have this power, so she will always be unhappy with her son. But what the mother does not have, I do have. My love is such that as she enters into my will, I lay over her, warming her with my love, to call her to new life. I kiss her again and again. I squeeze her to my heart to remove any evil that may shade her and take away from her divine freshness and beauty. Then I blow, sending her my recreating breath to regenerate her into new life and to give back to her the rarest beauty. Not satisfied yet, I form the throne of all my works, and I put my will on it, as a king on his throne, reigning and dominating in this creature. Then I can say, what else could I have done that I did not do? Could I, perhaps, have loved you more and did not? You must know that my love reaches the point of excess. As the creature does her own acts in my will, I call in each act all of our acts, all possible, imaginable acts that we have done, even the very generation of the Word, done by the Holy Spirit, the whole creation, and my incarnation in time. Everything. In that act, we enclose everything. To be able to say, it is our act, a complete act. Nothing can miss. And the creature must be able to say, in your will, everything is mine, and I can give you everything, even your very self. Therefore, our glory and love echoes in all our works. Gathering everything, it pours even into our divine womb. Oh, how sweet it is to hear everything resound with glory and love to our Creator. But who gives us the opportunity to receive so much glory? The one who lives in our will. After a while he added, my daughter, as the creature calls my will in her acts, in her prayer, my will repeats that act together with her, praying together with the creature. And since its immensity is everywhere, the creation, the sun, all heaven, the angels and the saints, feel within themselves the strength of that creative prayer, and all of them pray. The prodigy of this prayer is omnipotent, and it involves all, giving itself to all. Only those who, ungrateful, do not want to receive it, remain without its effects. Therefore, my will possesses the virtue of prayer. Oh, how beautiful it is to see it praying in its divine way, and with its creative virtue that imposes itself on all, making everything pray. This prayer imposes itself on our divine attributes, making us pour rains of mercy, graces, forgiveness, and love. It is sufficient to know that it is our prayer, to say, it can give everything. Now, you must know that whether the creature does or does not do our will, whether she lives in it or not, she is already in its immensity. Or better still, my will is life of her life, and act of her acts, and it continuously assists her with its creative and preserving act. Therefore, one who lives in it can feel its life, its power, its sanctity, and how much I love her. It happens to her as to the fish who lives in the sea and who knows it. She feels this divine sea that is her bed, carrying her in the arms of its celestial waters. It feeds her. It makes her consume herself within it. It amuses and embellishes her. And if she wants to sleep, it forms her bed in its depths, permits nobody to awaken her. It even sleeps together with her. Such is the love of my will for the one who lives inside its sea, and who knows it, that it does in her all the arts it wants to do. If it wants to think, it thinks in her. If it wants to look, it looks through her eyes. If it wants to speak, it speaks, keeping her in continuous communication, telling her many of the wonders of our eternal love. If it wants to work, it works. If it wants to walk, it walks. If it wants to love, it loves. My Fiat is always busy with her, and she not only recognizes it, but she never leaves it alone. She sinks more and more in its sea, because she knows that if she gets out of the sea, she'll lose her life. The creatures that live in our will are our celestial residents, and with their love they delight in forming the waves of our sea to amuse us and make us happy. On the other hand, those who live in the immensity of our love but do not know us don't feel anything of this. They don't feel our paternal attentions that press them to our womb. They live inside our sea as if they did not live at all, so unhappy, as if they were not our children. They are like strangers, and since we are not known, we are forced by their ingratitude not to tell them even a word, and to keep repressed inside our womb the goods that we had to give them. And seeing our poor children dissimilar from us, only because they don't know us, is a suffering for us. Even if we gave to them, it would happen as the Gospel says. Don't give pearls to the pigs, because they do not know what they are, and they would cover them with mud and trample on them. Therefore, it is knowledge that allows creatures to understand where we are, with whom they live, what they can receive, and what they have to do. So those who do not know are the true blind, because they cannot see anything, no matter how many goods are placed around them. They are the vagabonds of creation. Fiat. July 11th, 1938. How with true love, anything one wants, the other does too. Every act of divine will is a way being opened between heaven and earth. The breath of God in the creature. I am always in the arms of the divine volition, and as I was writing, I felt the weight of the great sacrifice of writing, and I offered it to my dear Jesus, to obtain that the divine will may be known, wanted, and loved by all. Oh, how much I would give my life to let it be known by all! Since I was suffering with difficulty, I continued to write, and my sweet Jesus, to give me strength, told me, "My blessed daughter, courage, I am with you." I am so pleased when you write, that for each word you write, I give you a kiss, a hug, and one of my divine lives, as a gift. Do you know why? Because I see copied in these writings our life of eternal love, the copy of our operating divine will. Also, our love, repressed for 6,000 years, bursts out and finds relief for our flames in making known how much it loves the creature, to the extent that it wants to give her its own will as life. This, so that on both sides we can say, "What is mine is yours." Only then true love is satisfied, when it can say, "We love each other with equal love. What I want, she wants." If there were any disparity of love, it would make both of us unhappy. And if one wanted something and the other something else, the union, the love, would cease. Since my love is true love, knowing that the creature has a limited love and will, we can say that we love each other with one love, that we have only one will. If one doesn't become the will of the other, true love doesn't exist and cannot arise. Therefore, you should be happy to be used for the outpouring of my love, for many centuries repressed, and for the refreshment of my flames that are such as to make me delirious. So let us love each other with one love, and let us say together, "What you want, I want." Say, "Jesus, dissolve my will into yours, and give me yours to live." Then, after we promised each other to live of one will, my beloved Jesus added with more tenderness, "My good daughter, you must know that the power of each act done in my will is such that it opens a way to heaven for oneself and others who follow. Therefore, every act is a way that leads to heaven. All these ways, coming down from heaven, braid the earth. They spread everywhere and become safe paths and safe guides for anyone who wants to enter, guiding her up to the womb of her Creator. See, then, what an act in my will can do. It is one more way that opens between heaven and earth. How beautiful it is living in my will. The act is not only a way, but as the soul is about to do it, the divine breath descends into it, and blowing, fills all creation with its omnipotent breath. Everybody feels the refreshment, the love, and the power of the creative breath that has the power to enclose everyone and everything, embalming with its divine and celestial air my operating will, within ourselves as much as in the creature. It makes wonders to the extent that it can say, I am a divine act. I can do anything. There is no greater honor that we can give to the creatures, and no glory we can receive from the creatures, that makes us more glorified, happy, and triumphant, than letting our will operate in their act. We feel locked in her act, while still being free to operate in the human circle as only God can. Doing this is an exuberant love for us. We love our act, in which we see the action of our power and unreachable beauty, our sanctity, love, and goodness, covering all, kissing and embracing everybody in our divine qualities. How not to love such a great act? We love she who called us and gave us her act, allowing us to do an act so great. How not to love her? She who served as our bearer to operate so many of our wonders. What wouldn't we give to her? And who could ever refuse her anything? It is sufficient to tell you that one who lives in our will leaves everyone behind. She is first in sanctity, beauty, and love. We can feel our echo, our breath, in hers. She doesn't pray for, but takes what she wants from our divine treasures. Therefore, cherish always in your heart to live in our divine will. After this he added, My daughter, our will circulates in all created things as blood in the veins. The primary act, the motion, the heat, is always its own. But if my will finds a creature who recognizes it and lives in it, while it keeps circulating in everything, it concentrates in this creature, forming its own support to operate its marvels. And while, with power and immensity, it never leaves anyone, it opens its communications with this creature for the benefit of those who will have ears to listen to them, intelligence to understand them, hearts to receive them, and love them. In this creature, it will deposit its graces and its keenness of love, while the human will living in it will serve as the room in which to continue its operating act, forming its center, its divine chamber, for its continuous expression of love. As the creature does her acts in my will, she is reborn in God, and God in her. And these births will make new horizons arise, more beautiful heavens, brighter suns, new divine knowledge. For every additional act she does in our will, we feel more moved to make ourselves known. We feel more confident in placing our trust in her, since our will is in her. She will know how to keep with jealousy what we tell her and what we give her. Therefore, in every new birth, she will rise to new love, new sanctity, new beauty. Then, looking at her in a delirium of love, we say to her, Our will makes you more and more beautiful. more and more saint, and the more you live in it, the more you grow and rise again in our divine being. For every new act you do, our will imposes itself to make us give you what is ours, and to tell you new secrets, grant you new discoveries of our love. If we did not always give to this creature, we would feel motion lacking to our divine life. This cannot be. Neither can she live without receiving. Otherwise, she would feel lacking the food of love, the tenderness of her heavenly Father. Therefore, be attentive and recognize that you are being carried by the arms of the divine paternity. Fiat. July 18th, 1938. How beautiful it is to see the creature in the divine will. How created things await it to love their Creator. The exuberant love of God for those who live in it. My flight in the divine will continues. It is as if its power and immensity feel the need of the company of its beloved creature to take her everywhere it is. As it finds its works, it pauses to tell her the different story of each work and the diversity of love that animates them. It delights so much in manifesting the source, the specialty of its works, that not only does it donate these works to those who listen, but it celebrates the works together with them. Now, while my mind was surprised and enchanted, my always adorable Jesus, surprising me, told me, "My blessed daughter, there isn't enchantment more beautiful, delighting our Supreme Being, than seeing the creature enter our will. As she enters, she takes us as if in her arms, and she clothes herself, inside and outside, with our divine being. We, in return, take her in our arms to enjoy her. Oh, how beautiful it is to see her, little but beautiful, little but powerful, little but wise, little but strong, to the extent that she can carry her Creator. There is nothing in which she is not similar to us. So, just by entering our will, she acquires and wears our divine qualities. With the right given by us, she takes ownership of all, giving herself to all, loving all, wanting to be loved by all, wanting love for us from all. Seeing a creature who wants everybody to love us is the purest joy for us, the most beautiful, the greatest one. We can really hear our echo. We want everyone to love us. We love everyone. And if many do not love us, we feel offended and deprived of our rights as Creator, Father who loves His children very much. Therefore, we feel recreated by this creature, finding in her our same follies of love. How not to love her? To her, our first kiss. To her, our squeezing hugs. The love tricks we make up for her are unheard of. And the more we love her, the more we want to love her. Jesus kept silent for a while. Then he added, "My daughter, all created things await you. But do you know why? because, thanks to my fiat that animates all, they feel their union with you, their inseparability from you. And since the creature has the supremacy, they all await you in their midst, so that, together with the creature, they can glorify and love us, each one according to the office assigned by us. Each created thing possesses the fullness of its own good. The sun possesses the fullness of the light, and each act of light it produces, each effect and good it unleashes from its womb of light, is like a continuous little sonata of glory and love that it gives to us. But it doesn't want to give it alone. Rather, it wants the one for whom it has been created. Only then are we truly loved and glorified, when the creature animated by our will flows into that act of light, loving and glorifying us with the love and glory of light. So we feel our purpose, the reason for which we created light, when we find the creature hidden inside that light, loving us with the fullness of the light and heat. We find in her love that wounds us, love that sweetens us, love that says always, love. Therefore we placed the sun in the power of the creature to love us. But if we don't find the creature in the created things, we are not happy. They remain like instruments with no sound or life. At the most, we love and glorify ourselves. But it is not the creature loving and glorifying us, so our purpose fails. The wind is waiting for you, for your voice to flow in its whispers, waiting to feel your whispering love toward its creator. Oh, how honored it feels when all see, in the impetuosity of the wind, your impetuous love, almost prevailing toward the one who created it. Its blows, its breaths, invested by your I love you. And as we feel your love breathing, we breathe love to you, to be loved more. The air that all breathe is waiting for you, to be animated by your voice. So, in the air, everyone inhales. They receive the I love you of their Creator. In the air they exhale, your I love you runs, to bring us, within its womb, every life, every breath, changed into as many loving voices. All created things wait for you, to receive the new life of love brought by the soul who lives in my will. Even the saints, the angels, the very Queen of Heaven await to receive the freshness and the joy of the love operating in the creature. Although the soul is on earth, she lives with their same will, and they are as if watered by the love of this happy creature. They feel the new love from which my will has filled her, investing all. They feel the joy of the conquering love she bears. My daughter, what order, what harmony one who lives in my will establishes between heaven and earth. All her acts, motions, and thoughts turn into voices, sounds, and harmonies that, investing all created things, make everyone say they love us. And as we remain loved, all of them together with us are loved with a new love. The whole heaven remains enraptured in seeing the wonders, the sweet enchantment of those who live in our divine fiat. Now, you must know that my love is not satisfied if I don't do and give new surprises of love to one who lives in my will, and if I don't add new things to reveal to her. So, my daughter, my celestial Father generated me when I loved you, and I loved him. And in that love, I loved you too, because my will was bringing you along, always present. I generate continuously, and in the ardor of our love as Father and Son, the Holy Spirit proceeded. In that ardor, I also loved you from a continuous love. I created the whole creation, and for each thing I was creating, I loved you first. Then I created it, laying it to your service. Even in the love between me and my Heavenly Mother, I love you. Oh, how much I loved you in the incarnation in her virginal womb. I loved you in each breath, each motion, each tear. My will had you present, so that I loved you and you received as a gift from me my breathing, my tears, my motion. My love for the creature who was going to live in my will reached the extent that, even in doing graces and in loving my saints, in that same love, she was enclosed. I can say that I loved you always. I loved you in everyone and in everything. I loved you at all times. I loved you in every place. I loved you everywhere. Oh, if everybody knew what it means to live in my will, and the seas of love and graces by which they are inundated. A God who loves with love always knew. As in our divine being we keep our divine and predominant passion, that the creature live in our will, so it would become the creature's predominant passion, and so that, at any cost, they would give their life to live in that fiat that loves them so much. Fiat. You have reached the end of the Book of Heaven, Volume 36, Part 8. Fiat.